When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're not sending you. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
We're not exactly presenting our best either.
Go down there, hang about your feet. Show these idiots.
On my feet?
Yeah.
Is that safe?
What do you care? You're an animal. You're an animal. I'm an animal.
Okay, so I thought I would try a slightly different setup for this video.
Okay, so Trump says that they're not sending us their best, and that is true to some degree, and not all of them are bad. I'm sure there are plenty of good people coming over, but the issue is that illegal is illegal, and if you're illegal, you need to be gone, you need to be out, okay? And I hate saying that, but that's just the way it works, right? So that being said, though, on the topic, since we're talking about it, and we are talking about it, Trump says they're not sending us their best. Okay, so bad eggs are coming over. But I would like to argue that we're not presenting our best either, because the state of the nation as it is right now, and all the delinquents and all of the chaos and the violence, and I always forget the name of it. I'll look it up. The name of that stupid place where, the people rioted out of control and took over a whole damn town and tried to rename it, and no one can come in, no one can go out. They're burning and looting and just tearing the place up. And Chad, I think is what it was called. I'll look that up at some point. But it's like, how much evidence do we need? Irene Zarutska, Chad, I'm out of order here, aren't I? Chad, Charlie Kirk, Irene Zarutska, we are not presenting our best, and we need to do better if we are going to be having people from different parts of the world come experience what we have to offer, the land of opportunity. Okay, before I keep rambling too much, I want to jump back to Irene. We're going to go over a little bit of info here.
Irene Zarutska was a 23-year-old Ukrainian refugee, artist, and aspiring veterinary assistant, tragically fatally stabbed on a light rail train in Charlotte, North Carolina in August 22, 2025, an event that sparked national debate on crime and justice. A suspect, DeCarlos Brown Jr., was arrested and charged with first-degree murder, with federal charges also filed. Leading to calls for severe penalties, Zarutska fled the war in Ukraine in 2022, embracing life in the U.S. with dreams of becoming a vet, but her senseless murder while on public transport shocked the community and politicians.
Charlotte, North Carolina, on a rail train. She was stabbed while looking at her phone, right, by some psycho sitting behind her. Okay, now Irene died that day. Very tragic, very sad. It was very upsetting, and my wife probably couldn't stand me yammering on about it, and now you got to listen to it too. Okay, but these things matter to me. These are deeply important. So this upset me for a multitude of reasons, okay? And the issue is which I'll get to that in a minute, but real quick, we're going to read off DeCarlos Brown Jr.'s criminal history. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. It's on Google if you want to find it. That's what I'm reading off of. As accurate as it may or may not be. Can we really trust Google? I don't know. I wanted to point out something specific, and it's the idea that in August of 2014, Brown assaulted a man and stole a Samsung Galaxy and about $750 using a handgun, according to court documents, okay? All of those items were reportedly later found in Brown's apartment. He was charged with a dangerous weapon and possession of a firearm by a felon. So what I don't understand is why was he ever released back into the public? You know what I mean? Like, if this animal had been, and you know, it's not a race thing, you know, psychopaths are gonna be like, oh, the language, and he called it, and whatever, right? Like, this man violently ended the life of somebody. He violently robbed someone else years prior. He's an animal, okay? We got to call it what it is. And, you know, this is no less of an issue here. We have $750 on top of a TV. You know, if you're lower middle class, if you're poor, that's nothing to laugh about. You know, that's a meal in your, like, not a meal, like that's your food, that's your life source, that's your bills, your rent, like that is a significant amount of money for people that don't have money. You know what I mean? So, like, this guy robbed this guy, I'm assuming probably probably violently, with a gun, you know, a handgun. So for me, the idea is that if you bear a weapon, that's the idea of intent, you know. And why do we have to wait to find out if you meant it or not? Why can't we go back to the day that if you draw upon me, I draw upon back, and if I see you draw upon someone else, I'm drawing upon you? Can we go back to the days where we actually take out wickedness when we see it, that we actually do you know, hold people accountable? So, like, a handgun is no laughing matter. That is a threat. Like, if some kid pointed you know, and think about this, right? Like, when people get arrested, if some jackass, if some young kid who's just legal enough to be held accountable points a gun at a police officer during an altercation, and then he's, you know, taken down, and oh my god, you know, we're about to bust his ass, you know, maybe they shot him, and bam, right? And like, we go to investigate, we're looking into it, maybe he lived, maybe he didn't, maybe he died, but we go to look into it, and it's not even a real gun, right? It's like spray painted fucking squirt gun, or like a BB gun or whatever, but the cop didn't fucking know that. It's the heat of the moment. Now the kid is dead because he's a fucking retard, right? But does the cop need to apologize for that? This kid knew what he was doing. He knew what you know, he's playing with fucking fire. He got burned. You know what I mean? So can we stop playing games? You know, I hate to use old rhetoric and like, hey, you know, can we stop nerfing all the edges in the world and let the dummies die? But like, seriously, like, can we a little bit, you know, like, can we get back to a more sensible time where we stop rewarding the thugs and the criminals and the delinquents and the bad people and start creating a better path forward for the people that are respectable and actually try to do good, you know? And like that one guy that was on a subway, I believe it was, that got in all kinds of legal trouble. I need to look up his story at some point, of choked some dude out or something like that because he was harassing other people on the train, you know, or the subway, or the local transit. Okay, I'm rambling again. You wouldn't believe how many times I've restarted these videos. It is absolutely maddening at this point. But I get deeply passionate about these things because I care, okay? And I care about it on all fronts. And these are things that matter to me, and I think they should matter to you too. So we established that we're bringing back corporal punishment, and we're going strong, right? So on that aspect for DeCarlos Brown Jr., I'm saying this, man, we're going full Punisher, baby. Give that motherfucker a Frank Castle. You know? Okay, so as I ramble forward, I'd like to throw out there for anyone who isn't, like, on the left, whatever that means. I don't personally subscribe to like titles and labels necessarily, but they are useful for certain conversations and broad terminology to keep a conversation moving along. So that being said, like anyone that is like of the right or like Christian or like, you know, like the decent God-fearing people, you know, like for anybody that I would consider good people, I would like to throw this out there, you know, that we need to fight harder to purify this wicked world. Okay, and I'm going to quote the movie Dragonheart. Don't hate me, I'm cheesy, I'm goofy, I know it, but I would like to throw out the quote of the Dragonheart's The Knight's Code, and it is this: a knight is sworn to valor. Okay, his heart knows only virtue. His blade defends the helpless. His might upholds the weak. His word speaks only truth. His wrath undoes the wicked. This is the Knight's Code. And I feel that it perfectly aligns with what the Christian code is for the most part. You know what I mean? Sworn to valor. You know, that is perfectly within Christian means, you know, we are called to action. His heart knows only virtue. You know, we strive to be the best of what we can be and to defeat our wickedness, to defeat our wicked ways and to move on to a better path and to be a better self. This is the Christian way, you know, to purify oneself so that we can get closer to our Creator. His blade defends the helpless. Is that not what Christians are called to do? Is to help those in need, you know, to lend the helping hand, to stand up for the little guy. His might upholds the weak. You know, like, again, the little guy, he's weak. He can't do it. You know, the little guy's struggling. So he can't do it himself. Someone's got to help the little guy. You know, it's like we gotta stand up for each other. Together we're strong. You know, united we're undefeated. His word speaks only truth. You know, we got to stop deflecting and dodging, and we got to stop being dishonest about things, and not even just intentionally dishonest, but like there's little things we do all the time where we try to make, instead of tackling issues, we try to justify them so that we can deflect from them. You know, it's like we tend to lie all the time about what a situation is or the nature of it, and we need to stop doing that. We need to force ourselves to come face to face with what reality is and the situations that we're dealing with and actually work through them, as painful as they may be. His wrath undoes the wicked, and this is the one that is the most important, is that we can't afford to be soft anymore. We have to go deep in the paint, be hard, you know, like we gotta be willing to actually get rough when needed, and we gotta take down those that need to be dealt with. And I can't say too much on that without crossing certain lines, but you understand the point that I'm making. You know, when bad actions are taken, good men must rise. I don't think that is a unreasonable thing to point out or ask. Rambling on some more, to the left. I have a question, and it's what good does it do to flood our country with illegals when they are being brought into clear and present danger? You know, like this is an unsafe environment we all live in, and it's chaotic out here. We can't even manage our own, you know. So it's not exactly fair to bring all these people from these different nations into a situation they are not prepared for. It's the idea of clean up your own backyard before inviting the whole damn neighborhood to the cookout. You know what I mean? That if we don't have our own house in order, how could we ever expect to want company? You know, that's just common sense. You know, why would I invite you through the door if there's a million cockroaches and I got fucking pizza boxes all over the place, and like, you know what I mean? Like my house is all chaotic and a mess, and it's fucking, you know, like maybe I got a rabid dog or something, like, you know, like why would you want to come in? You know, so like for the left, for the people on the left or identify with the left, or, you know, for those that are the bleeding hearts, so to speak, consider that. And as far as repeat offenders go in this nation, can we please go back to the point of public, you know what I mean? Like, I can't really, I don't know if I'm supposed to say it or not. I don't even know if I've said something already I shouldn't have, but like, public displays of punishment, you know, like when they used to do like town hangings in the public square, you know, it's like, can we please go back to that? And I know that sounds harsh and barbaric, but like, just hear me out, okay? The idea here is that if we create punishments that are harsh enough, severe enough, that are on public display so that everyone can see them, if there is fear, the fear of God, you know, the fear of punishment, the fear of consequence put into people, and especially like when, and it's like, oh my God, in the public square, it's like there's youngsters, and it's like, yes, exactly, that little teenage fucking punk that thinks everything's a game when he sees some dude's eyes pop out of his fucking skull and his You know what I mean? And it gets all violent and scary, and even the adults are shitting their pants and puking. Maybe that youngster will straighten the fuck up, and maybe, maybe, just maybe, the delinquents will wake up in this world and we can actually get back on track with life. And I understand that we can't get carried away with ideologies like this. We have to be careful because there's innocent men that get put in prison every day, right? So we obviously have to put safeguards in for stuff like that. But when it comes to like repeat offenders, people that have been doing it on and on and on and on and on, and people that we have vetted the information to the point that we know for a fact, like without a shadow of a doubt, that they are guilty. We have all the evidence in the world. It is like, we know you're guilty. It's not like speculatory. It's not like, oh, well, like this detail could be interpreted. Like, no, we know you're guilty. Like, dude, why do we gotta keep playing games here? Like, I don't fucking get it.